Hey guys, I'm Marina and today we are going to be doing one of my favorite dinner recipes. It's an alternative to the spaghetti bolognese. We're gonna be doing spaghetti squash bolognese and we're gonna be doing a turkey bolognese instead of beef. It's so good, so yummy, and it's one of the recipes from my Radiant Clean book, which is my recipe book full of healthy tips, advice, and meal prepping, everything that you guys need. I'll put a link below if you want to check it out, and let's get started. Here's everything that you need for the recipe today. All right, so first we're gonna need a medium to large size spaghetti squash, and I already cut out the ends of it, so we're ready to go. You're gonna need a tomato sauce. Now, again, I'm a lazy cook, guys. I do not like spending time in the kitchen more than I have to, but I like to eat well and I like to eat delicious food and I like to eat healthy. So I try to find alternatives that are gonna make my life easier because we're all busy, right? So I love the rails, I'm not 100% sure, tomato sauces. You can find in most grocery stores. It's delicious. It actually tastes homemade. And if you look at the ingredients, it's so natural. For example, we have tomatoes, olive oil, onion, basil, salt, garlic, black pepper, and oregano. That's it. Nothing made up, no synthetics. So I love this sauce. Give it a try. It's not sponsored. I'm using the tomato basil, but he has a bunch of different ones. He has a spicy one, a vodka one, a 4-cheese one. So I'm just gonna use this one for the bolognese. Now I have fresh basil. I have a little basil plant. I swear they last a long time. Definitely worth it. It's like $2. I have 1 pound of ground lean turkey meat. And again, I'm using the turkey meat to be on the leaner side, but you can use any ground meat that you want. It could be beef. I also love ground lamb, which is not super common, but it tastes delicious. We have olive oil. I have some Italian seasoning, so you can use any herbs that you like: parsley, oregano, rosemary, thyme, marjoram, whatever you like. I have half of a medium-sized sweet onion chopped already. And for the onion and garlic, guys, you can use as much or as little as you want because it really depends on how much you like it. For example, I love garlic and onions for my husband's disgrace, so I use a lot of it, but it's totally up to you. And I like sweet onions because they're not so strong tasting, and I swear the breath is not as bad as other onions, so highly recommend sweet onions. And then I have 5 or 6 cloves of garlic, but I would recommend about 4 unless you really like garlic. I have salt and pepper right here, and then I also have some fresh Parmesan for garnish at the end. And that's it. That's all you need. Now let's get started here. First, I'm just gonna grab my spaghetti squash. We're gonna cut in half long ways. And again, I already took the top and the bottom of it. Be careful with this. They are pretty tough, so I just like to put it in the middle and press the knife all the way down the middle and just like wiggle it down. There you go. All right, now you have options. You can cook with the seeds inside, and some people like to eat the seeds. It's actually really tasty. I like to not have to deal with them afterwards, so I'm gonna use a spoon to scoop them out. And it's super easy. You're literally just gonna scoop it out on both sides. All right, guys, so this is what it looks like after you clean the middle. You know, there's still a little few pieces, but that's okay because that's actually the shape of spaghetti squash. It has the shape of spaghetti. So now we have that. Also, you want to make sure to preheat your oven to 400 Fahrenheit. Mine is already going, it's warmed up, so make sure you do that. Now we're gonna get the olive oil. I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit on both squashes, and I'm gonna use a little tool to just spread it out. Make sure you get the middle and the wedges. Now we're gonna sprinkle a little salt and pepper. And again, you can put as little or as much as you want. If you know me, you know that I try to use as little salt as possible because we, in general, Americans tend to eat too much sodium in our days because of all the packaged items that we eat. So I try to limit the amount of salt that I'm having. Now, it is important to have salt in your diet. So unless you're not having any salt, make sure that you're adding some to your food, but make sure you're also checking the labels on prepackaged things that you are eating. All right, so salt, pepper, olive oil. I'm putting a little bit of Italian seasoning, but you can put whatever seasoning you want. And next, I have a baking sheet and it's lined with aluminum foil. And I'm gonna place them face down on the baking sheet. So cut side down. And we're gonna use a fork to poke some holes on the skin. This is help to cook evenly on the oven. So I'm gonna use a fork and really push hard, wiggle it in, and bring it out. It's a bit tough, but you get used to it. And just all over the squash. You can also use a knife. I like a fork because I'm less likely to cut myself with a fork than with a knife. So it's safer for me at least. And that's it, it's ready to go to the oven. I'm gonna put this in the oven for 30 minutes and then I'm gonna check. You might need an extra 5-10 minutes, but it really depends. So it depends on the size of your squash. Let's put it in. All right guys, the spaghetti squash is baking. So while it's doing that, it's gonna take 30 minutes, we are gonna prepare the turkey bolognese. So I'm gonna need my turkey, my onion, my garlic, salt, pepper, olive oil, herbs if you want, and then after the meat is cooked, we'll add some tomato sauce. So let's give it a look. All right guys, I have a pan and over medium-high heat. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil in the pan, about a tablespoon or so. I'm gonna add my onions and I'm gonna let them saute for about a minute or so. All right, I'm gonna add my garlic now that my onions are starting to become a little clear. And I'm gonna cook for another 30 seconds or so. Now that the garlic is getting a little golden, I'm gonna add my turkey meat. I'm gonna add another drizzle of olive oil, a dash of pepper, a dash of salt, and you can add any herbs that you want. I'm gonna put some Italian seasoning, which is basically just rosemary, thyme, oregano, and margarine. And I like to use a good amount. I'll say a tablespoon. And I'm just gonna mix it all together. All right, you wanna cook the turkey meat until it's fully cooked, or to your taste really. I like to even let it a little longer than normal so it starts to crisp up and brown a little bit, but it's up to you. So I'll just let it sit and get a little brown. All right, now I'm gonna add our tomato sauce. The meat is fully cooked. I'm gonna add about 3 cups of tomato sauce, but play by ear. Some people like less sauce, more meat. Some people like a lot of sauce, so do it to your taste. So for 1 pound of meat, I'm using almost the whole jar of tomato sauce. And now we're just gonna let it simmer for a few minutes and it's done. All right, the spaghetti squash is ready. Our turkey bolognese is ready, so I'm just gonna assemble everything. And this is kind of what we're looking for on the spaghetti squash. If you look at the pan, you can see it's a little browned at the bottom. I'm gonna turn one of them and we're gonna see how it is. Hot, to be careful. But you see it's like fully cooked, it's soft. And another way to test it if it's ready is using a fork. If you pull my cat smells this and he wants it, I don't blame him. So if you just pull it, look, it should just come right off and it looks like spaghetti. It's perfect. So I'm gonna do that on both sides. Use the fork, pull it apart. Oh, this is gonna be so yummy. Look at this. So good. And I'm gonna set it up in a bowl and we're gonna be done, guys. Let me get a bowl. Our sauce that is ready. I'm gonna put it over here. Yum. Get a spoon for that. So super simple now. I'm just gonna get some of the spaghetti squash, put it in a bowl. Perfect. And about a half of a squash is good for one person, depending how hungry you are. All right, so this is what we have, the cooked squash. I'm gonna add some Bolognese on top. It looks so good. Super easy recipe, the whole family loves it. It's a great way to just add more vegetables to your day-to-day life, to your kids' life. So highly recommend it. I'm gonna sprinkle with some fresh Parmesan cheese. And last but not least, we're gonna grab a few leaves from my little tree. You can add as much or as little basil as you want. I love basil, so I always put a lot. And that's it, guys. How good does this look? Dinner is served. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you try this out, let me know what you think. Tag me, send me a comment, a message. I love hearing from you guys. And also make sure to subscribe to my channel to get more recipes, more workouts, more healthy tips. I'm here for you and I want to help you feel your most radiant from inside out. Thank you so much for joining me.